Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Nexus podcast. I haven't said those words in a hot minute. It's been over 2 months now since the last episode dropped, which was in September of 2024. And there hasn't been much activity in the last half of the year. And I want to round off Season 2. Season 2 has been absolutely phenomenal. I love doing this podcast. It's so much fun. I get to talk to friends and I get to interview some fantastic content creators and I get to have an absolute blast whilst doing it. And, it's just, I couldn't have asked for a better podcast. You know what I mean? So, let me just quickly run through what's been going on and why, it's been a bit lackluster. So, tell the truth, honestly, during summer holidays, which, for those who don't know in the UK, summer holidays is the end of July to the beginning of September. It's roughly 6 weeks. It was very hard to get people to record. Summer is the time of year for everybody to go on holiday, to see family, to go off and do fun things in the sun and stuff like that. And this year I found it more difficult to find new people to come on. And of course that's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to be a thing. And when this happens, it can get tiring, after a while. It definitely can. That was the start of it. I was struggling to keep up with an upload every single Tuesday. And I didn't want to do so many of these solo episodes. I like doing these every now and then, but not too frequently. And I felt like I was a burden if I kept on asking my friends to be guests. Cosplay Dude 67, the Red Cornish Ranger, Mr. Hotshot. And then obviously I have the sub-series on the channel. We have Movie Dumpster Dive, and of course we started a new one this season, Press Start and Level Up with my buddy Anthony. And I felt like a burden just keep on asking the same people to come on. I also didn't want to get repetitive and boring for the listeners, if that makes sense. So this year has been also very different because the end of 2023, I sparked the idea of a podcast and it went really well. End of 2024, life changed. Personal things happened. I'm no longer in contact with certain family members, and I don't know if I 100% really gave that attention. And I'll admit, I've said this on TikTok and I'll say it here. For the last couple of weeks, I don't know, life just hasn't been fun. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been charming, and it's just been a bit lackluster. And there's definitely been times where I just couldn't be asked. I was just done. I was just done with life. I was just done with the podcast, with making content. That includes my gaming, the audio dramas. I've been also trying to run and manage the 300 Pro Studios, which has been difficult. Especially when you work with people that live in America, and things like that. It's been quite difficult to sustain myself in a version of myself that I currently wasn't at, if that makes sense. When I'm 110% on, no, I can get these things done, and I was beating myself up. I was literally beating myself up. I was literally telling myself, why am I not doing this? When in reality, I just couldn't. I wasn't in the right mental state. I wasn't looking after myself properly. I'm also a dad and a fiance, and I run a household, so I've got to also maintain a certain level of, top notch for them too, and it just wasn't happening. So I came to a decision a couple weeks ago that in December I'm taking the break of uploading, hence why the last episode's coming out now. So I usually upload on a Tuesday. This obviously isn't going to come out on a Tuesday. And I really wanted to push this episode as close to that break as I possibly could. And so that's why it's coming out, now. I'm taking a break from uploading because I need time to myself, and over the last couple of days I have thought of ways that I can just make my life a little easier. I've been pushing myself to walk 2 miles a day. That I started the other day. That's been a lot of fun. I'm not drinking as much fizzy now, which is awesome. I'm actually drinking my second fizzy drink today, and I'm recording this at gone 9 p.m, which is great. Let me take a sip now. And I'm also, I'm trying to not sleep in on the weekend. That sounds really odd, I know, but I do hang out with a lot of Americans, and the British people I hang out with, all of them work stupid amount, other than one who goes to university, and again, that is also ridiculous hours too. And on top of that, trying to work with and hang out with an American, it just gets too much, and I end up on Fridays and Saturdays going to bed really late. We're talking like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, which I did a lot over the summer, as in, my kid wasn't in school, so I didn't have to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get him ready for school. So now it's a case of Fridays I'm limiting myself to 2 a.m. My fiancée will wake me up at 8:30 in the morning, and we decided this because I wouldn't wake up until gone 10. Sometimes it was 10:30, sometimes it was 11, and because I had stayed up so late, and then, it takes me a little while to wind down and actually fall asleep, I was fucked. I'd be waking up at 11, half 11, taking 10 minutes or so to actually come round, then actually getting up and getting myself ready for the day. I shower every morning, I got long hair, so I got to maintain that, and all this sort of stuff. I'm ready for the day at 12. At midday, half the day is gone, and it started pissing me off, man. And I was doing it to myself. So we came to the decision of, okay, let's wake up at 8:30. The missus already wake up by 7 anyway. So as we're recording this, it is Saturday, and she did wake me up at 8:30, and I was up, ready for the day by 9:20, which is great. And before we even went out and hung out with Logan, because I have him at the end of every week, at the last weekend of every month, sorry. I had already watched 2 episodes of Arrow, had breakfast, I wrote 3 chapters of a story, already spoken to my buddy James, who's been on the podcast a couple of times, and things like this. I managed to get so much stuff done in those 3 hours, between me actually being up ready, the moment where I'm ready for the day, to us actually leaving to walk out the door. And I'm really happy about that. I'm going to maintain that. That is so good. I was so impressed with myself. And I know that's such a small thing. Drinking water, getting up early on a Saturday. They're such minute, small things. But when you're depressed and your mental health isn't great, and, you're hating your own life, little things like that, you gotta make it a victory, man. You have to make it a victory. You have to really, really stick to it and make it a big thing. When Logan was growing up, and he learned the most easiest thing, you make it a big deal, because it encourages him to carry on. Why do we lose that? Why do we lose that? When someone who struggles to do something basic and they do that basic thing, why can't we celebrate it? Why can't we go, yeah, fuck, let's go? Why not? So, yeah, I'm taking a break during December, and the first week of that break, I am going to be writing a story that isn't going to be uploaded on Tiger Tales or the 3 Ranger Bros audio library. It's not. I'm just writing a story for the sake of writing it. Everything I write goes on Tiger Tales, and it's frustrating because I now feel like writing is a job, and I love writing stories, and it shouldn't feel like a job. I'm playing a game just to play a game, man. Everything I play, I record. You know, every game that I play, I record or live stream. And it's like, why can't I just play a game, man? Let's fucking do it. So I've got a game picked out so I can just fucking play it, man. Like, let's go. You know, I've already started writing the story. That's what I wrote today. You know, just to write a story. Let's just get some creativity flowing. You know, I need to start thinking for myself. On the 12th of December, I am opening up a Discord server. It's already ready to go. It's all ready to, you know, it's already been made. Channels have been set. Rules have been put in place. Moderators have been knighted, if you will. So we are ready to go. And on the 12th, I will be going live on TikTok because to me, going live on TikTok isn't making content. It's just chilling with people. If you guys want to follow me on TikTok, it's the Tiger Entertainment Network 777. You'll find me there. And I am now in the process of working on some podcast episodes ready, and there is going to be one big change for the podcast. I'm going to be uploading every fortnight. We're going to shift it every fortnight. I feel like, just for now, until I get back into the flow of things, you know, I feel like there's going to be... I think it'll be a bit easier if I upload once every fortnight. Just for now. We may shift back. We may even shift it back to once a week. But as of right now, I have 2 podcast episodes set to record in the middle of December, which will come out in January. I have the next movie Dumpster Dive ready to go. I've just got to call it with Ben, but we know what our topic is. Me and Anthony know what the next episode of Press Start and Level Up is. And we've also got a new sub-series covering comic books with Comic Nerd 101, who I did interview back in July. We did a 2-parter, and he's decided to come back on as a sub-series guest, and we're going to cover comic books, and it's going to be called, I believe we called it Between the Comic Panels, I think, or Between the Panels, or something like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we are going to have 1 episode of each of those sub-series with 2 guests, and then possibly a 3rd guest too. So your first 6 episodes are already set. So obviously 2 episodes, 2 weeks between, you know, every fortnight. Your first episode shall be, it's still on a Tuesday, so it will be January the 6th. That'll be the first episode upload, which means the next episode upload isn't until the 20th, and then it'll be the 3rd, and it just means, you know, I still am uploading the podcast. I may shift it back to, you know, every Tuesday, and when I do, that's great, I'll let you guys know, you know what I mean? But for now, it will just be fortnightly. I'm hoping maybe to get, you know, some previous guests to come back on and geek out with me a little bit. Maybe. But getting new ones is really tricky. Getting new guests is hard, man. And it's really hard to, you know, it's really hard to act professional, not geek out because you're talking to someone, but also kind of, you know, convince the other person. You got to sell yourself. And, you know, it can be hard and it can be tricky. And there have been 4 times now I have contacted 4 different creators, and they've gone, yes, let's go. I'm down. You know, I want to do this podcast. I'm like, cool. Let me know when you're free. And I never hear from them, and I haven't heard from them, and it's so annoying. And I get they're busy, and I get their life is hectic too. But in my head, why say yes to something when, you know? Why say yes to something if you're not going to do it? I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking that. When it comes to 2026, I'm not going to promise anything. Season 3 will start on the 6th of January, and like I said, it will be every fortnight for a little while until I can get back into the swing of things and we can get the sub-series up and going more. we can get more into interviewing people, having old guests return to. So there's like 3 versions of the podcast episodes: a sub-series, which I have 3 of them. We have new guests and returning guests. There's 3 separate sections of the podcast, and yeah, I just need to kind of swing it around a bit and see what happens. So fortnightly for a little while, and then we'll be back to every Tuesday once we've got back into the flow of things. I haven't uploaded since the 23rd of September. That interview was a week beforehand, so the middle of September, that's 2 months. And so by the time I actually interview these new people, it'll be the middle of December. So, hopefully things go well. And, I'm always just going to be honest with you guys. And like I said, the last couple of weeks, no uploads, just for the fact that my head's been fucked. And I'm just going to be honest, I haven't been looking after myself. I haven't been, up 110%. But I'm working on it. And, the walking, the less fizzy, the more water. Not wasting half a day, in bed on the weekends and stuff, getting things actually done, actually having a bit more of a life, and something else that I've done as well is I've stopped worrying about other people so much. And that sounds really weird, but hear me out a second. So, like, for example, if you ever listen to Thai Tiger Broadcasting, or you've ever watched my Thai Tiger Broadcasting channel, that is the channel where I live stream gameplay, and whenever we do that, quite often you'll hear the voices of my UK friends and the cosplay Dude 237 family, and we play games and stuff. We hang out all the time. We hang out, quite a bit throughout the week, and there's times where I'm sat there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit here really bored out of my skull whilst everyone plays the game that I don't play, just so I can hang out with these people. And I'm like, but why am I doing that though? Why am I wasting my time sitting here for 2 hours when I could be recording something or editing something or playing a game that I want to play, just because I feel like I'm going to piss them off or upset them or whatever the case may be? That I've stopped doing that so much. I've been leaving a little earlier. Normally I leave about 12:30, 1:45, just before I go to bed. I've been leaving about 12, just so I actually have an hour to myself. I can watch an episode of something, edit something or whatever. I'm gonna be unapologetically me, I guess. I've also been doing that on TikTok as well. I've been kind of like, not explaining myself as much. If you don't like what you see, scroll the fuck on. There's no need to comment. And a lot of people keep thinking my break in certain content and my break in December is about the hate comments. It really isn't. It's more of a case of I've not going to be trying to explain myself anymore. Yes, I have 24 channels. And yes, I upload on all 24 channels each month. I have my reasons, don't like my reasons, fuck off. It's that simple. So, I leave you guys with this. I'm going to make this a short one. I don't want to ramble on for, an hour or anything. There's no need for that. I hope everyone has a fantastic Christmas. I have Logan this year for Christmas. Me and his mother do alternate each year. So this year I have him for Christmas. I look forward to it. And there will be Christmas present showcasings on Best Buds. So I hope everyone has a fantastic year. The rest of your year as well, I meant. And Happy New Year's to everyone. I know some people celebrate the New Year, some people don't care. We're not that bothered. I'm always up at midnight anyway, so it's just not a day to me. But I hope everyone has a fantastic Christmas and the end of the year. And I look forward to coming back in 2026. Certain channels will get brand new videos on the 1st, but certain content do have set days. So from the 1st of January to the 9th of January, everything should have a video within that first week. The Discord server will be going public on the 12th of December. I am going live on TikTok to celebrate that. Go check out my link tree, which again I actually believe it's TiTiger777, or just find my TikTok account and you can click it there. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel. The Tiger Nexus podcast channel is at 61 subscribers, which is great. I love that for my podcast. I don't actually really promote my podcast, and I don't do anything for it, so that will change, especially in the new year. And so I just want to thank everyone who's gotten the certain channels to 100. We are ending the year at the moment in time as recording this, the end of November. We have 9 channels of 100 subscribers, or over 100 subscribers, which is fucking fantastic. We now have 3 channels with over 70, which is great. That's phenomenal. And then we have, I want to say it's 3 channels over 200 subscribers. I love that. That's great. I started this TikTok account in February, at some point in the middle of February, and, ending November and ending uploading in November, we are almost at 7,500, which is so much better than what I did with my old TikTok account, which took me 4 years to get to 4,380 something. So I thank everyone for that. I'm so I appreciate everything, and I appreciate the 300 Bro Studios and the council members, my guests on the podcast, my voice actors, the boys that I game with, Logan, Nia, my fiance. I appreciate everybody, because everyone makes things a lot more fun and entertaining, and help me drive myself to being better. So I shall see you guys in 2026 with a brand new episode starting season 3. I look forward to it. And of course, like I said, fortnightly episode uploads just for a little while for the first couple of weeks, and then I'm hoping to kind of get back onto the weekly upload schedule. I do love you all. We're of passion, everybody, and I shall see you guys in 2026.